Now, another issue that's being reported across the country at thecentersquare.com is that of data centers. Here are just a few headlines you can find from the past week. President Trump says data center boom will lower Americans' energy costs. In Louisiana, Entergy says Meta will save ratepayers billions. In Nashville, they look to halt data center development for now. And Wisconsinites in a poll say they increasingly believe data center costs outweigh the benefits. Joining us to discuss this further is Dan Diorio, Executive Vice President of the Data Center Coalition. Dan, thanks for taking time with us here for the States. A lot of headlines. I'm sure you guys see them all over the country. What do you attribute is adding to the growing pushback from local residents and state legislators to the increased demand for data center placements?
Well, I think it comes down to this is an industry that is developing very quickly. We are in an era of unprecedented demand for digital infrastructure, and the industry is building out to really meet that demand and ensure that the U.S. remains the world's leader in advanced technologies while providing the infrastructure that keeps us connected every day. And I think it's certainly true that the data center industry needs to invest, and it is investing in robust community and stakeholder engagement to help communities understand what these projects are and what they aren't. Ultimately, how they will use resources wisely and how they will be of economic benefit to those localities.
Yeah, a lot of the concerns we hear is about resources, energy being one, water being another. But there's also the issue of eminent domain, especially in states like Pennsylvania. State law allows a utility to exercise eminent domain for reasons that include transmission of electricity. Your thoughts on the pushback on that issue, and some residents in rural or even suburban areas worried that it could be a problem for their community.
Well, it's important to remember that data centers do not exercise eminent domain and don't have eminent domain authority. We've just come out of about 20 years of pretty flat electricity load growth, and now data centers are one of several factors influencing increasing electricity demand. And as such, we need to invest in our infrastructure to ensure that we all have reliable, resilient electricity that helps to fuel the 21st century economy. Data centers can play a key role in that. They can provide the large loads, the certainty that helps to facilitate those investments. And we actually see throughout the country where data centers, as that catalyst for investment, are helping to lower residential rates for residential ratepayers. We see it in Indiana, in Georgia, as you mentioned, in Entergy, as well as even a place like California.
When it comes to that side of this equation, do you feel that things have been skewed too much on the critic side versus what you're laying out here and what we've seen reported elsewhere, that data centers are going to be bringing their own energy supply, could help lower rates, could even bring in a whole bunch of property taxes locally to help offset the cost to regular mom and pop and residential property taxes?
Yeah, the facts and the data have to matter in this conversation, most importantly. And I think we know that data centers bring significant economic benefits. In 2024 alone, the industry directly and indirectly employed over 5 million people in the U.S., contributing $926 billion to U.S. GDP and $204 billion in federal, state, and local tax revenue. We know communities are reinvesting that in schools, in infrastructure, and services, and they're helping to lower tax burdens in places like Loudoun County or Columbia County, Georgia, where residents will see their tax bills lowered, their tax burden in that community lowered because of data center revenue coming in. We have to answer important questions about resource use, as we mentioned, energy, but also water. Data centers are amongst the most efficient water users in the economy. So we need to have the facts and the data and the context in these conversations to ensure that communities are having those conversations appropriately, are answering the right questions, and ultimately are making an informed decision.
Now, the internet's global, of course, but how crucial is it that the United States lead in this area of data center development and to get it right?
It's absolutely crucial. We know how to lead in this space. We know how to do it right. But most importantly, there are other countries that have the ability to build out this infrastructure, and they are building out this infrastructure very, very quickly. And that includes both the digital side, but also the energy side. It is essential that the U.S. remains the world's leader in these technologies, because we can do it responsibly, and we can build responsibly and apply it responsibly. But I think as we look at our lives today, it is absolutely crucial that we have the ability to store Americans' data here at home safely and securely. This is a national security imperative.
Dan, several years ago in Illinois, you had legislators from both parties and Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker say, hey, we want to encourage data center development. And they gave some carve out for tax breaks to these developments. But now Governor Pritzker and some legislators changing their tune. Here's the governor at a recent conference, and I'll get your comment afterwards.
I felt like we needed to not be contributing to that problem. And instead, let's say, especially because these data center companies and the large tech companies have the resources to bring energy with them, how about if we say, we're not going to incentivize you. We're going to tell you that you've got to bring energy with you if you're going to come. And you've got to have closed loop systems that make sure that you're not contaminating our water or taking too much of our water and costing people in your utility bills, water and electricity. So that really was the intention of my putting a pause on the tax credits.
Now, your thoughts on this, having put those tax credits out there several years ago, and then you've got this public uproar pushing back on data center developments, and the governor now putting a hold on those tax credits.
Well, these tax exemptions are an essential component of data center economic development. They provide certainty and predictability for reinvesting in that facility over many years. They apply to the servers. The servers change over about every 3 to 5 years, and that accounts for evolutions in technologies. New chips coming out are 25% more energy efficient. That exemption provides a valuable incentive to ensure that communities are served by the most up-to-date equipment and the most energy efficient equipment. I worry that this is going to ultimately have and be a long-term detriment to fostering economic development in the state of Illinois and elsewhere.
Well, Dan Diorio, Executive Vice President of the Data Center Coalition, we're going to have to bring you back on to discuss this further because it doesn't seem like it's going to quiet down anytime soon when it comes to the data center development debate. Greatly appreciate you joining the States.